I know from one case only yesterday of somebody, a vulnerable person, who went to the council to ask for help and has been told they face at least a 3-week wait before they're allocated a caseworker, before anybody can look at their application for homelessness. Now, what sort of city are we living in where we get all this fuss about 5% tax being knocked off millionaires and all the angst about their problems in society, and nobody is raising the basic bread and butter issues of unemployment, of housing, how ordinary working class families are facing life in this secondary schools now. A third of them have gone down the route of academies. That was something that was invented and brought in by Labour and accelerated by the Tories. And up until very recently, the Labour Council's official position was an agnostic one. It didn't matter what sort of school, how it was organised, how it related to the rest of the schools in the city. The council would work with whatever providers came along. Now, we raised a petition against that, forced a debate in front of the Cabinet Member for Education, got a minor change made to that policy. So now, if Michael Gove in London forces a school to go down the route of becoming an academy, then the Labour Council would oppose that. It's not enough. That fragmentation, that competition which is coming in education, if there are going to be successes in education, and I'm sure one or two of these academies will become successes, the quid pro quo is there will be failures, because education now is totally funded by the number of pupils that go to that particular school. They carry on their backs the funding with them. If more are attracted to a popular academy school, that means another school is going to suffer by not having the necessary funding. 600 families at the last count couldn't get a place in a local school. Now, it's posted in the Telegraph, they've got their second or third choice. I've taken up cases of people who live in the middle of the St Michael's who are walking 4 times a day over to Stoke Oldham, or walking 4 times a day over to Bradford, because that's the allocation that they were given. We warned Labour of this when, in parochial terms in St Michael's, they closed St Mary's School on Sky Blue Way. We told them, if you take what you call excess or surplus places out of the primary system, it won't be long before there are waiting lists, not just for houses, not just for operations, but now to get into a local school. Those issues, alongside ones which I'm only going to deal with in terms of headlines, like safety, the shared spaces that we've tried to raise on the council in recent weeks, green spaces, the battles we've had in Charterhouse or the back of the Belgrave, generally about the environment. We led the opposition to the new incinerator and the PFI incinerator on the city council, and successfully campaigned, for example, for the introduction of plastic recycling. It's not something we get a lot of credit for, but that was something we achieved on the council as well. To the community issues like residential parking and achieving, for example, in Charterhouse, the largest free residential parking scheme on a 5-day basis anywhere in the city. It's on a 6-year free basis at the moment. Hardly anywhere else has got to. Now, those aren't election issues that we just invent 3 months before an election. That's the bread and butter work of a party that's rooted in communities, that's working with trade union members, that's doing those things week in, week out. And therefore we have, I think, the right when we come along to an election to say, that's what we've achieved, that's what we've tried to fight for, we'll do more if we're given the chance to see what we're made of. And a lot of those things, by the way, the opposition to academies, the shared spaces, the question of Charterhouse fields, those things simply would not have happened if the Socialist Party had not been active in this city, particularly in electoral politics.